Have you ever felt like no matter what you're trying to do, you're always the one trying to hold it all together, to keep the relationship functioning? Like you're fighting for something, but it doesn't even seem like he cares about the relationship, that he cares about you. And it oscillates back and forth. One minute he tells you that he loves you. Next minute he's pushing you away. One minute he's acting like everything's fine and the family's great. And the next time he's treating you almost like you don't even exist. You feel like you get to the place that you're the one that's the only one that's trying in the relationship. And deep down you might start to wonder, does he even want me here? Does he even love me? Does he even care? The answer really quick is just no. But it's not in the way that you think. Because I want you to understand that the truth is that there's a version of him that wants you to leave. He doesn't just want to be the one to end it, he wants to make sure you do it. He doesn't want the responsibility. He doesn't want to look like the bad guy. He doesn't want to deal with the consequences of what's going to happen if you walk away. So instead of him walking away like a normal person, he makes you do it instead. He makes sure that you are the one that he pushes away, that you are the one that he drains and slowly wears down until you can't take it anymore so that you finally leave. And when you finally get to that place where you take the time and you leave, he flips and he plays the victim. He looks at everyone and he tells everybody in a sad face that he tried. He acts like you gave up. He rewrites the story so that somehow he's the one that got hurt because you abandoned him, you left him. And if you don't see it happening, you will walk away, blaming yourself the entire time. That's exactly what he wants. He wants to have you confused. He wants to have you lost. Today I want to break down how narcissists push you to leave and why he refuses at the end of the relationship to end it himself, and how the patterns keep you stuck in the cycle that's designed to actually destroy you long term. If you're new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist. I spent years lying, manipulating, controlling, cheating, just like the man that you're with right now. And I see through the games because those are the same games that I used to play, the same games that I used to live. I would push people away while making it seem like they were the ones at fault. I used to test and see how much someone could tolerate before they'd finally break. I used to tell myself that I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was the good guy because they were the ones who walked away. I was the one who was always loyal. They're the ones that left. But deep down there was a piece that I knew exactly what I was doing, but I didn't want to own it. I didn't want to be honest. Just like he knows exactly what he's doing to you when you talk about this. Narcissists oftentimes will push you to leave. They want you to leave first. Narcissists a lot of times will rarely leave first, not because they love you, not because they want to work on the relationship, but because leaving means that he loses control over you. So he wants to keep that control because it means if he leaves, he might have to admit failure that he did something in the relationship to break it apart. It means that he would be the one to blame. It means that facing the world as the person who couldn't hold the relationship together, and he doesn't want to look like the bad guy or look like a failure, and he can't have that. So no matter what, he's like, I can't do this. So instead of him taking responsibility of his actions, he does something much worse. He makes you leave. He conditions you to walk away. And he does it in a way that makes you feel like it was your decision all along. Makes it feel like you're the one that's in control of it, but he's been subtly pulling the strings. He's been making the relationship unbearable. He stops showing up emotionally for you. He starts to gaslight you. He creates endless chaos, drama, instability that's affecting you and everyone else. Until eventually you get to the place that you break. You reach your limit. You get so exhausted, so drained, so emotionally just done, that you have no choice but to walk away for your mental health, for your physical health, for your sanity. And the moment you do this, he flips it. He tells everybody how much he tried. He tells everybody that it was you that walked away. He paints a picture that you were the one that abandoned him, and he uses your decision to leave as proof that he was the real victim all along, that he's been trying, that he's been showing up because you're the one that left. You're the one that walked away. And over a period of time, you start to question yourself. Maybe you overreacted. Maybe you should have stayed and tried harder. Maybe, just maybe this all was your fault and you're the one that actually abandoned him. If you would have stayed and supported him, maybe he would have changed. But that's exactly what he wants you to think. Because now, even after you leave, he still controls the narrative. He still manipulates your mindset. He still manipulates the thought process. I know this because this is who I was. I didn't have the courage to actually end the relationship, to actually say, this is what's affecting me. I didn't want to deal with it. So instead, I would push and push and push to try to get her to walk away. And when she walked away, then I would beg her to stay. And then she'd stay and I'd be like, oh, dang it, she stayed because I wanted her to leave. But I didn't want to own it. I didn't want to be the person to make it happen. I wanted her to make that choice, that I didn't have to be the bad guy. I want you to consider you're in this situation. You might be getting really exhausted. You might be feeling drained, feeling like you're just constantly walking on eggshells, trying to figure out what's even real, what's going on. You feel like you're the only one that's keeping the relationship alive, that you're trying, but you're literally carrying it on your back. Because deep down, there's a piece of you that knows he's checked out completely. He's not invested anymore. You know he's treating you differently. You can see it. You can tell that something's off in his energy and his tone. You just can't figure out why. You can't figure out what's actually going on underneath the surface. Let's talk about why. He's already decided to leave. He's just waiting for you to do it first. He knows he wants out. He just doesn't want to be the bad guy. And if you're not sure, I want you to look for a couple different signs. One of the first signs is intentional neglect. In the beginning, he gives you attention. He makes you feel special. He makes you show that he believes in you, that you matter, and then he pulls it back. He pulls it back very intentionally, where he barely acknowledges you. Like he's emotionally unavailable. He starts detaching from you. He acts like spending time with you is a burden and is an inconvenience. And every time you bring it up, he dismisses you. He makes you feel like you're being too needy. He starts a fight. He wants you to feel ignored. He wants you to feel unwanted. He wants you to start questioning your own worth, who you actually are. And if he can do that, he has control. If he can do that, then he has the advantage over you. Because when you start feeling invisible, the moment you start doubting your own value, it's the moment that you start thinking about leaving. And that's exactly what he wants. He wants to push you so that he can get out. The second sign in this might be constant conflict. He's going to pick fights over absolutely nothing. Meaningless little things. He's going to turn small disagreements into full-blown arguments, completely blowing things up, creating tension where there shouldn't be any tension at all. And at first you're like, I don't know what's going on. I should try to fix it. You try to talk things out. You try to go to counseling. You try to understand why things feel so off. But every time you do, he finds a way to make the conversation, the argument even worse. It's not because he wants to fix it. It's not because he wants to solve the problem. He's creating the problem on purpose. Because if he creates enough problems, if he can keep you in a state of frustration, of confusion, if he can make the relationship feel completely exhausting, eventually you'll give up. Eventually you'll just stop trying. You'll stop caring. You'll start thinking about leaving, and then he's off the hook. It's what he's waiting for. He's waiting for you to actually want to leave and say it so he can get out. Then you have emotional whiplash. That's the third piece. One day he's cold, next day he's nice, and it goes back and forth. He's ignoring you, he's loving you. It's back and forth. It's all over the place, so much so that you can't figure out which way to go. You never know what version of him you're going to get next. And it keeps you stuck in this emotional hell of a roller coaster. It keeps going back and forth because just when you've had enough, just when you're ready to leave, all of a sudden it seems like he flips. He suddenly acts like the man that you fell in love with. And you're like, I don't get it. I don't like you. We're done. I'm leaving. And that's when you start doubting yourself because all of a sudden, maybe he does care. Maybe you're just being too sensitive. Maybe if you stay a little bit longer, things will be better. You'll figure it out. Maybe you can work through. Maybe you can start over. But they won't. Because this whole thing hasn't been about a relationship. It's been about this cycle so that he can push you away so he feels better about himself. The longer you stay in this, the harder it's going to be for you to see the truth. That's why I'm doing this video so you can wake up to reality. Because you have to wake up to the piece that he is consistently doing these things to keep you pushed away, to keep you get frustrated, to get you to the place that you're the one that decides to walk away. And when you get to that place, when you finally decide to walk away, he's not going to let you go easily. Because he still needs to control his image. He still needs to control the story. First, he might try to get you back. He's going to make promises to change. He's going to get you flowers. He's going to start treating you the way that you've always wanted him to treat you. Why? So that when you leave, he can say, well, I tried. Look at all the things I did. It's not going to last because it's not real. It's a last-ditch effort to keep you hooked. It's a last-ditch effort to show just to everybody else, I tried. This is what I did. Why can't you see? She's the one that left me. And he switches himself into the victim mode. He'll make it seem like you're the one that ruined everything. He'll show all the people all the nice things he was doing for you, but he didn't do those things the entire time. He just did it at the very end so he could keep his image, so he could keep the narrative. He will tell people that you gave up on him, that you're the one that abandoned him. He'll use your decision to leave as proof that he's the one that was wronged. And if you're not prepared for this, you'll start walking away feeling guilty, second-guessing yourself and wondering maybe you made a mistake. Inside of this, you didn't, but he's going to try to make you believe that. He needs you to believe that. He wants you to believe that. I want you to see this for what this actually is. It's not about love. It's about control. Controlling you and making sure that you actually stay tied to him, that you actually stay stuck. Hey, just want to jump in here really quick and say you might have been watching my content for a period of time, but you haven't taken the next step. You haven't taken the next moment, the next idea, the next thought to actually change your life. And I want to provide you with a couple different options. One of the ways is to be able to work with me personally inside the Thriver Intensive. What I do inside of there is help you break the trauma bond, eradicate the triggers, and move forward in the healing process. You got 24/7 access to me. You've got access to other women who are going through it, access to other coaches, but a support system that you need to finally break free once and for all, and to make sure that you don't go back, that you don't interact with them again, and that you finally find peace. If you're interested in knowing a little bit more about this, then click on the link down below, but it'll be rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. You'll be able to hear a little bit from me, you'll be able to hear a little bit from my wife, and be able to hear a little bit more about what I do to help you move forward. If that resonates with you, click on the link below, rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. You might be in a relationship where you've told him, we're done. And all of a sudden, things shift and things change. You might have told him, I'm filing for divorce. And all of a sudden, things shift and things change. Why? Because at the end of a relationship, a narcissist will change and use different tactics to try to keep you stuck. They'll use different tactics to try to prove to themselves and other people that they, quote unquote, tried. Because he's worried about his image. He doesn't care if you leave. He's worried about his image. He doesn't care if you leave. He's worried about the next supply. He doesn't care if you leave. He worries about himself and what people will think about him. That's all a narcissist is ever thinking about. He doesn't want to deal with the shame of losing you. He doesn't want to deal with the shame of the relationship falling apart. But the reality is, if he wants out of the relationship, he'll push you and prod you to make the decision so that when you leave, he's off the hook. He didn't make the decision. He didn't seem like the bad guy. It must not have been him. For the longest time in my relationship with my wife, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to push her to the place that she would leave. There'd be times that she would pack up and that she would leave. There'd be times she would pack up and threaten to leave. And I would tell her, no, don't leave. I want you here. There's a piece of me inside that was screaming against myself. While I said, I want you here, there's a piece that was saying, just go, just go. Because I knew if she went, then I'd have a chance to have freedom. I'd have a chance to finally have the life that I wanted, which wasn't really life at all, but just another dead-end cycle running after another woman. So there's a piece of me that wanted to push her away, and I would do this consistently, depriving her of that emotion, depriving her of the things that she wanted, making her feel emotionally exhausted and drained, all so that she would make a decision to leave so that I would feel better about myself, so that I could play the victim. And that's what I did. Whenever my wife first left, one of the first people I called and talked to was the affair partner. Oh, my wife just left me. Creating sympathy with another person. So the other person would look at me, would be closer to me, would be drawn to me. Why? Because I was playing a game over and over and over, pulling people into my world, pulling people into my image that I was creating. So even if I was the one that cheated and my wife left, I would still look like the good guy because she left me. Here I am trying, here I am going to counseling, here I am doing therapy, here I am doing all these things, and she left me? Wow. Man, she doesn't even care. Do you see? This is what I would do. Like, this is like mask off me saying, this is how I lived, this is how I was, because all I cared about was manipulating the story, manipulating my image, and that's what the guy in your life is doing right here, right now. He's trying to manipulate how you are seen, trying to manipulate how he is seen. And he's going to do anything and everything to keep that image, even if it means pushing you to the brink so that you leave so that he looks like the good guy. You might be in a relationship right now with a toxic guy and you don't know what to do, to leave or to stay. I work with women that are stuck in toxic relationships and no longer want to have men define who they are. No longer want to be quieted and shrink to fit this guy's ego. But instead, if you're at the place where you actually want to break free from the trauma bond, move forward with confidence, knowing that the decision you make is the right decision, knowing how to be able to assess with clarity and confidence that you can make decisions with certainty, then this is the place for you. What I've developed over a period of time has been a community of women that are improving and growing, developing their lives apart from the abuse, that have healed and broken free of the trauma bond, that have actually set themselves up on a completely different path because they know and understand the cycle, the system that the toxic guy uses, and they're no longer affected by him anymore. In fact, they've moved to a state of indifference, which is the ultimate place where you win over a narcissist. In that space, you need to have support. You need to have community. You need to have step-by-step system that actually guides you and gives you the tools to deal with the triggers, to process the emotions, to break the trauma bond so he never has this effect over you ever again. Never has this confusion that's stuck inside your mind, that this never is a piece of your life again. But you can establish a life with purpose and passion moving forward. I want to invite you to go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. There's an opportunity there to be able to watch a video from me, fill an application, and book a call. The call is free just for us to talk and be able to see if we can build a plan to be able to help your specific situation. If you want that customized help, the intensive of the Thriver community, it helps bring you around other women that are moving forward, not just surviving, but are thriving on a day-to-day basis, then that's for you. Go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough now. You've been told it's all your fault and that makes you feel crazy. No one understands you and that leaves you in a place of being alone. You've tried to break free multiple times and that leaves you helpless because nothing you've done has actually worked. It hasn't actually got you free or liberated from this toxic relationship. So you feel crazy, alone, and hopeless. Guess what? That's a lie. Because all it is how you've been raised and conditioned inside of this abusive relationship over and over. And as a result, you've sacrificed your growth, you've sacrificed your worth, and you've been trapped inside of a toxic relationship. What if I showed you the path to freedom? A way for you to actually get free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity that's happening right here, right now. You deserve more. You deserve to be able to heal. And I want to help you with that. If I can help you with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough, schedule a call there, and let's talk.